So I asked you guys to submit your questions. I said, don't hold back, nothing's off limits. And you guys didn't hold back. You asked me some great questions that I'm excited to answer. And I will say this is the very first video that I didn't write down my script, write down my answers, or at least an outline of some sort. I literally just have the questions, and I kind of wanted to be super, super authentic and real and just speak from my heart and not be rehearsed or anything like that. So, without further ado, I'm going to get right into those questions. Here we go. All right, so I have my questions here. I'm just gonna go from top down. This might be a two-part video depending on how long. Again, I didn't prepare my answers. I'm kind of just gonna ramble and see where this goes. But question number one, do you believe in drugstore skincare or should you use medical grade only? I believe that you need to listen to your skin. And that might not be a popular opinion amongst my colleagues, but listen to your skin. I always tell my patients, what I tell you that I think your skin could benefit from is just based on my experience. But you may go home with the regimen that I plan out and it may not work for you. The whole point is trying things out and adjusting based on how your skin responds. So for me, in all honesty, I think a cleanser is a cleanser and a moisturizer is a moisturizer. I think if you like Cetaphil or CeraVe cleansers, I think that's great as long as it washes the makeup off or cleans the pores and all of that and makes your skin clean. It's a cleanser. A moisturizer is just to help trap in moisture and hydrate your skin. Those two products I say are safe to use over the counter for sure. Now, when it comes to your active ingredients like vitamin C or retinol or retinol eye creams, that's where I would splurge and do medical grade because you really want that potency. So for those, that's where I would spend the money. If you're looking to stay within a budget, think about your cleansers and your moisturizers as your over the counters and everything else that's more active you can splurge on medical grade or you can do all medical grade. But I like to work with everybody's budget because that way your patients stay consistent because they're able to purchase it month after month after month, and that's where they get the results. So honestly, go. It could go either way for me. Question number two. What's your favorite way to unwind after a busy day at work? So this question's kind of funny because a patient asked me the other day how I recharge, and I found it so hard to answer. And if you know me, you'd roll your eyes and be like, "No, that makes sense why it would sound hard for you to answer because I am such like an alpha female. I do have this obsession with being productive and always progressing and always growing that people who are close to me would be like, yeah, you don't really recharge. You just are like a bull that just keeps powering through life. And not to say that that's a good thing whatsoever, but I also don't really have any hobbies. As sad as that sounds, going to the gym, some might say that me going to the gym is a hobby or how I unwind, but it's not. Going to the gym for me is necessary. It's to stay healthy, to live a long life so that my joints don't hurt, so that I keep my body moving. It's not really something I do because I enjoy anymore. It's something I do because it's needed and it keeps my body moving and that feels good. So the gym isn't a way that I recharge. So for me, how do I unwind? It came to me when I was talking to this patient and I realized my happiest moments during the week, like how I recharge for the work week, is I don't set an alarm on the weekends if I don't have to. I don't set an alarm. I let my body wake up. Brooklyn's at an age where she's waking up. I have to wake her up. She could sleep till like 9 a.m. So I'm able to not set an alarm and just kind of let my body wake up. My favorite moments are waking up without an alarm, making coffee in the morning, sitting on the couch with Mitch and having Brooklyn create a mess in the living room playing. Then we'll get dressed, go for a family run or a family workout, come home and make breakfast. And it's just this really slow morning, the polar opposite of my personality. And that fuels my heart so much and it kind of grounds me. And I've found that if I don't have one day during the weekend where I'm doing that, I feel more tense. So on weekends that I'm like really, really busy and I don't get those moments, I start the week kind of a little like worked up. Not that anybody notices, but it's something that I notice really like launches my week beautifully. So I would say that's how I unwind. That's a really long answer to say. I unwind by having those slow mornings where I kind of just enjoy the small things in life, which is hard for me sometimes. So, yeah, that's how I recharge. That's how I unwind, and that's how I like to start my week, my crazy busy week, and my list of things to do. All right, question number three. Let's put my tea down. Okay. Question number three. How do you recommend somebody who hasn't gotten into skincare get started? Easy. Don't don't overcomplicate it. Honestly, pick 3 to 4 products. Pick a cleanser, an SPF, if you have dry skin, maybe a moisturizer, and maybe a vitamin C. Pick simple products that are easy for you to use and just get in the habit of being on a regimen. Get in the habit of washing your face before bed. Get in the habit of putting on sunscreen in the morning. Don't overcomplicate it. I think I've I've seen videos where injectors recommend this like 12-step regimen, and it's just not feasible for a lot of busy moms, a lot of busy parents, a lot of just busy people. We're busy, and if you're not used to having a regimen like that, it can be very daunting and very overwhelming. So for me, if I had to pick 4 products, it would be a cleanser, an SPF, a vitamin C, and a moisturizer. And then I would say once you're really in the habit of a good regimen that you're consistent with, then throw in a retinol and then build upon that based on what your skin is telling you to do because everybody's skin is different. So don't get 15 products, all these serums, all these eye creams. You don't need it. Start with the basics and just build upon that. All right, so this question made me laugh because it's something that I struggle with. How do you have time for your husband with all that you do? And I promised to be super authentic with this, and I didn't plan anything, I didn't write anything down. I don't even have an outline in my head. I kind of just wanted to speak from the heart and kind of share where I'm at and why I struggle with it and how I overcome it. But for me, and also how it's a part of my 2025 goal. So let me try to make this not super long-winded, but I I would say it's challenging to be with me. I'm incredibly loving. I am a fantastic mother and a fantastic wife. Both my husband and my daughter are incredibly taken care of and always feel like they're my priority, but I struggle with it at the same time because I have a lot going on. So it can be very challenging to be with me because I am such an alpha in my professional life. And then I come home and I'm a beta and I'm happy there. And I'll explain why. So, I think the reason that with everything I do that my marriage is successful is because of who I'm with. I think it wouldn't be my marriage wouldn't be what it is if it weren't for the man that I was with. And let me explain. So, my husband is incredibly, and anybody who knows this knows him. My husband is incredibly independent. He's simple. It doesn't take a lot to make him happy. There are a couple things he needs out of his marriage, and that's it. As long as I fulfill those needs, he's happy, our marriage is happy, I'm happy. And it sounds so simple, but it's all about understanding each other's needs, right? And I do believe in the cheesy love languages and learning his love language and him learning mine. And I think we've gotten to a point in our marriage that as long as we feed each other's love languages, we really don't need much of that extra stuff, right? I'm not a gift person. I don't care about gifts. I don't care about anything luxury. I want words of affirmation and I want to be told that he's proud of me, that I'm a good mom, that he sees my hard work. I want to be acknowledged for all of the work that I do. And he's physical touch. So if as long as I meet those needs, he's happy. And it's kind of this like really nice, simple cycle, right? And I find that when I fall off, when I become a little more self absorbed or selfish and I'm not feeding his needs, he's not feeding mine as well. And then somebody has to kind of relink our cycle, and it just works, right? It's all about figuring out your partner, and it doesn't have to be overcomplicated. But I will say, because of who I'm with, he's not needy. He doesn't take a lot of extra time. He's simple. He lets me be this alpha in my professional life, and then I come home and I'm a beta and I'm submissive to him, and I like being the female, that traditional female at home. So again, nothing prepared in my head, so I'm rambling, so bear with me. But this is from my heart. But it is something that I struggle with because oftentimes on date nights, if we're watching a movie, I'll fall asleep because I'm exhausted. Or I am trying to still work on my computer or edit a video while we're at date night, and it's not fair. And that's where I find that that link kind of detaches from our cycle, and he doesn't feel his needs are met, and then my needs aren't met, and our cycle is off. So, to tie it all together, my 2025 goal is to be intentional with my time and to be present in the moment that I'm in, because I find that I have very few, and this is so deep, but I have very few memories in life because I'm always thinking about what's coming next. For example, if I'm having a conversation with you and you're in front of me, I'm always like, okay, I have to leave here. I have to go grocery shopping. I have to pick up Brooklyn. She has swim lessons. Crap, did I pack her swimsuit? All of this is going through my head while I'm having a conversation with you. And I'm never intentional with my time. I'm never present because I have so much on my plate. So, my 2025 goal is to be intentional with my time, to be here in the moment with you, and to not worry about my next move. It's always going to be there, and I will be fine. I've survived all the storms I've been through thus far, right? I'm almost 40, and it's okay to just be here. And my alpha brain, it's really hard to do that. So I didn't overcomplicate my New Year's resolutions this year. It's really just to be present, to sit in the moment of who I'm with, where I'm at, enjoy it, take it in, and then move on to the next moment and then be there. And that kind of ties into making time for my husband. And instead of editing a video while right before, like, we're waiting for our table to be ready at a restaurant, and I'm like this, just be there at the restaurant. The video can wait, anything can wait. I don't have to respond to the email. Just be in the moment. And I think when I do that, I think I'll feel that I'm hitting the mark versus just giving everything 20%. So that's kind of how I plan to pour more into my husband without giving more, because at the end of the day, I don't have a lot of time to give, right? Because I'm juggling so much. But I think if I give more quality versus quantity, I think it'll have more of a powerful impact. So that kind of gives you a little glimpse into Alexis and what I'm working on this year and what I've struggled with in the past. And I hope that answers the question and it doesn't feel like I'm rambling, but maybe somebody can relate to how I feel. So, moving on to the next one. What's one thing people don't know about you? What question? I feel like one thing people don't expect me to say when somebody asks me something about me or whatever is I had a paralyzing, crippling fear of public speaking. And that's funny because of what I do now. I did in PA school. I don't know if my PA colleagues remember, but I fainted in PA school giving a lecture on a topic that we had to talk about on the topic, but I was pouring sweat. I had tunnel vision. I turned pale and I had to sit down and lean my head against a wall and I fainted. And it was probably 5 seconds I came to. And ever since then, I had been terrified of public speaking. But one thing about me is that I hate being afraid of something. I hate not doing something because of fear. It drives me nuts because I know that we are all capable of doing anything we set our minds to, that I hate fear stopping me from doing something. So for me, I had to face my fear head on. And when I became an injector, I knew I wanted to overcome this. I remember seeing my colleagues speak on stage, and I was like, God damn it. Like, I know I'm capable of that. I have to overcome this fear. So I remember Yvonne Delos and Tiffany Hall giving me my first speaking gigs. And I remember just dying. I was terrified. I almost uh, jumped ship and said that I couldn't do it right before the moment I was going to step on stage. And I realized over and over again after every one of those speaking engagements that I was getting a little bit more comfortable by like the millimeter. I was still freaking out. You would never catch me on stage not in black because I am pouring sweat. But every single one that I did, I became less scared, less panicked, a little less sweaty. And all of a sudden, I became really, really comfortable with speaking on stage. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still preparing, I'm still making sure I know my stuff, I'm still overly prepared. But I'm not crippled anymore. I'm not panicking before I get on stage, and I enjoy it. So that's something people wouldn't know about me is that I was absolutely paralyzed speaking in front of people. I hated it. I was terrified. And because of that fear, I forced myself to tackle it head on. So if it's something that you want to do, but you're terrified of it, just sign up for a speaking engagement. Ask somebody if you could speak to this group or whatever the case may be. And I promise you, every single talk you give will make you a little more comfortable and a little more comfortable and a little more comfortable. And then all of a sudden, you're a speaker, which is something you never thought you could be. So, yeah, that's something that nobody knows about me. Okay, so this is going to be the last question because the next ones coming up are questions such as how did you get in the industry and what advice would you give to a new injector? And I really kind of want to make that its own video because I know how hard it can be to get into this industry and I really want to spend time giving quality advice on that. But the last question for this video is if you could only choose one, which one would it be? Botox, skincare, or filler? It's like an easy question and a super hard question as well because they all bring different things to the table, right? They all are valuable in their own way, but to be honest, I could toss filler out the door and never look back. I really could. It's hard because of between skincare and Botox. If I could only choose one, it'd probably be skincare. Skincare is going to be your number one anti-aging tool in your toolbox. Using your SPF, cleaning your skin, getting on retinol or retin-A for that anti-aging. You really want the tools that'll give you that clean skin that you can go to the gym without wearing makeup and feel confident. And skincare is going to do that. Botox won't. But Botox is going to help minimize that muscle movement. It's going to help minimize you getting those lines in your forehead that we naturally get as we age because it's going to paralyze those muscles. So it has an added anti-aging effect that skincare can't do. Retinol isn't going to prevent your muscles from moving, creating those lines. So if I had to choose one, it would be skincare. If I could choose two, it would be, let's say the reason somebody's asking me to choose two is because they're on a budget. I would say choose 3 to 4 products of skincare, cleanser, moisturizer, um, retinol, maybe a vitamin C, SPF, and then 50 units of Botox 3 times a year. If you could do that, you are going to look insane when you're in your 50s, 60s, and 70s because you're preventing that muscle movement with Botox, stopping those lines from becoming embedded, which is ultimately what ages you, are those fine lines. So if you can capture the lines that where they're currently at and not have them progress any worse, that's powerful. And then if you can clean up the canvas with your skincare, mm, chef's kiss, filler out the door. No brainer. I mean, obviously, as we age, we want a little cheek because we lose volume. We want a little lip enhancement, but filler, no brainer, would be easy to toss and never look back. It's skincare and Botox that I would take with me to an island if I had to pick, but skincare first.